let me tell y'all who I am so you know why you should even listen to me in the first place. Like, my name is Rob Legacy. And ever since I was 12, you know, I used to read the Bible a lot in my youth. I found an important aspect to the Bible, understanding God and who He is, and understanding the world as we live in. And that element, you know, Jesus talked about it a lot, was truth. I mean, that truth, in fact, if you walk that fine line of it, you can walk that path straight to God. And since I discovered that at a young age, I decided to dedicate my life to understanding and only knowing the truth, in fact. That's the only thing I respect. Like, if you give me your opinion, I feel like, I don't give a fuck how you feel, you know, so I don't care about what's real. So, anyway, that's me. Like I said, since I was 12, I wanted to walk on that path. I prayed to God that He would keep me on that path. And up until this point, I have stayed on that path. So, completing a goal like that will automatically grant you a certain amount of knowledge and understanding of the world that you live in. So, based on that principle, based on me gathering those facts, I have determined that using a mathematical principle, you can apply those facts to the Bible and determine where you at within a certain prophecy. And right now, everybody says one judgment, but nobody knows exactly where we are. But I do, based on the fact that I can gather enough facts so I can pinpoint where we are, based on my mathematical principles. I could be wrong. Every calculation has a margin of error, but everything is lined up to the point where this is seeming correct. That's what I'm telling you, like, that's why I believe he actually is the Antichrist, because I calculated him in here, and he fits in. But, and he fits in the exact description. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first I have to make you aware of the dynamic. And the dynamic is, if you look in the book of Revelation, there's a woman about to give birth to a child. That woman is a group of people, and that child is supposed to rule the nations with a rod of iron. So basically, God has determined that a child will be born who will rule everything with a rod of iron. And the devil stands up with big balls, basically, and says, no, I'm going to try to devour this child so he's born. So let me read it to you. Now a great sign appeared in heaven, and a woman clothed in the sun, the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then being with child, she cried out in labor and gave pain to give birth. And another sign in heaven. Behold, a great and fiery red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 diadems on his head. I mean, those were 10 men. But the 10 horns were 10 men, and the seven diadems were crowns, meaning there were 7 kings. And his tail drew a third of the stars in heaven and threw them to the earth. And you have to understand that this beast represents the lineage, as an image represents a lineage of a group of people, or basically the devil. That means at the end of his time, which is his tail, the tail end of him, would draw 1/3 of the stars, which represents the fact that a third of these stars, these people that you see in Hollywood, are associated with, like, these politicians too. They're associated with these satanic secret societies. You know what I mean? Like, you hear people talking about it all the time. Remember that guy got tasered and sprayed or whatever because he decided to talk about it? Anyway, and it says here, and it says below, like, this is one thing I understand about the dragon too. That dragon is important because if that represents 10 men, it says right here that dragon was the serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world, which means that dragon is the devil. Meaning you can point to 10 men and say that is the devil. That is what we've been up against this whole time. That is an important aspect. A lot of people have to realize the devil is a real, I mean, the devil is people too. It's not just a magical force that you can't see. The devil is something you can touch and feel, which is why he's touching to feel you. But, and basically just, and he deceives everybody. Alright, now here's the beast again. And it says, and I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast riding by the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his head a blasphemous name. That's the beast again. Now that's Satan. Now right here. Now, like I said, the 7 heads are 7 nations. The 10 horns are 10 men. And the 10 crowns means these are 10 kings. And on his head a blasphemous name. That name is Bilderberg Group. Like the 10 kings are those international bankers. Like I look into their history. I mean, basically like these international bankers, the Bilderberg Group, all they are yesterday's daughters and sons of like yesterday's kings. Like, and it would make sense that they would be billions rich because their fathers owned the nation. I mean, of course they are going to have money. And like that kind of money is just not going to, they're not going to just gamble it away in a couple of nights. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to gamble away $1 billion in a couple of nights. But these people have been rich over time. And over time they just gathered and gained power. Especially like, that was like the Rothschild and stuff like that. That's them. So they are Satan, or whatever you want to call it. If you look at our economy, you know, how things are in America. I mean, if you look at the Federal Reserve, I mean, isn't it funny to you that the lifeblood of our economy, the Federal Reserve, how we create money in this country is owned and operated by a group of international bankers? You look into our nation's history, the presidents were always trying to fight against what's called a money trust and stuff like that, and trying to prevent them from establishing a blockade or a bank over here, and they kept doing it. They've been changing our laws for years, and they talked about in the 1920s, after they had already established the Federal Reserve, how they have basically bought the press and owned it, and basically as far as like whoever didn't do what they wanted in politics, they would just run the press system against them. So the press has been owned and operated by the same group of people since the 1920s. So if you look at that and you understand that, and you understand that they've basically been kind of funding both sides and establishing whatever they wanted within this country and basically building and destroying the economy at their will, because it's been documented by world-renowned and some Nobel Peace Prize winning economists that the Federal Reserve is what caused all of our major stock prices, especially the Great Depression. They did it. I mean, that they can build and destroy our economy whenever they feel like it, and they do it according to their goals. They call that the business cycle, but that's not necessarily how business has to go. That's just how they do it, because it helps them achieve their agenda. And their whole agenda is to bring in a world currency. But that's what they get to with the New World Order, where they just tax everything that we do. But anyway, that's it. Blasphemous man, that's the Bilderberg Group. And here we go with Obama. Now a beast, which I saw, like a leopard, means spotted animal. If you know anything about spotted animals, it's a mixed breed. Like right there, it's not enough to incriminate and say, oh, that's Obama, just because he's a mixed breed person. Okay. And his feet were like the feet of a bear. Now here we are getting somewhere. Because if you look in the beginning of Revelation, there's another description of the person. And when it's talk about the Son of Man, they say he had feet as of brass burnt in the oven, meaning that's what his whole skin complexion was. He was a brown person. I mean, this person has the feet of a bear, meaning that they are a dark brown person. Alright, so now you have a mixed breed dark brown person. So you're still not Obama. That doesn't mean anything to you. And he has the mouth of a lion, meaning he can speak well. I mean, he speaks bold words. He's a powerful speaker. Now, that still doesn't incriminate him. Now we have the dragon gave him his power, his throne, and his great authority. So now you know the dragon is the one who gives him his power. And that doesn't prove it's Obama either. Now, so what you have is a strong-speaking black person with the mouth of a lion. But here you are, and it says, but this is what incriminates him. He was given a mouth speaking great and blasphemous things, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Now that's a guarantee, Obama, because there has been no other president, 42 months, that is the exact term over 4 years of a presidency. So there's been no other person who fits that description besides Obama. So this has to be him. Alright, now let me talk about the woman. That's an important aspect of this whole thing. Now that woman who is about to give birth to a child, that represents a group of people, a nation. And based on what I calculated here, and based on what I know, that group of people is black people. And I'm going to prove it to you in a minute, and why it is American black people who is actually going to give birth to this woman. Because there's a prophecy in the beginning of the Bible that talk about, I think God was talking to Abraham or Moses or something like that, and he said the seed was going to be afflicted in a land not their own for 400 years. And after that time, God will come and judge that nation. I mean, if you look in the book of, you look at the children of Israel or whatever, like they were only in bondage, like historians already know they were only in bondage for 215 years. So that couldn't be them. Plus, they said they were going to come out with great substance after the third or fourth generation or something like that. And that didn't happen with the children of Israel. That they came came out right away, and then they barely got out with the skin on their backs. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh just came right after them. They came straight out of slavery to like to whatever. So they didn't come out with great stuff. So this had to be somebody else. And it's American black people. I can prove it to you out of the Bible.